Hey everyone, it's your girl Maddie here, aka Beaver Mosh, and today I'm talking to you about Mistress in the Mirror from the Montana-based project Lusttag, and this one's coming off of Fiad Productions. And Mistress in the Mirror is a very raw and vampiric one-woman black metal project for those who crave that harsh lo-fi production. You're gonna find it here. And this isn't a black metal EP that in any way pretends to be overly progressive. It doesn't try to be very experimental. This is a project that understands the philosophical foundations of black metal in attitude and sound and runs towards it. And sometimes when a project can nail that approach, I want that. I seek projects that can do that out. And within the very raw production and approach, there are spaces for some moving synth work and some atmospheric touches as well. It's just really impressively composed for a debut EP like this. And being an EP of this nature, not a ton of music to talk about. It's only 20 minutes long, but those 20 minutes are cult as hell. Perilous Slumber begins with these glistening, ethereal synths. It kind of feels distant and of another realm. And that's before these slicing, jagged riffs come cutting through. It feels like you can tell just how raw this is from the very beginning. That lo-fi, bleak, icy atmosphere is very much embraced. The guitars kinda roll with the synths in a sort of succession, creates this misty, somewhat cold effect, and vocally we get these mysterious and shrill streaks that are mixed in a rather interesting way, kind of blended with everything else, electing not to push them to the front at all. It also builds into this closing section where everything gets a bit more grating and desperate with these freakish howls and these weeping leads from the guitar. These snappy, violent drum patterns take us to the end. It's just a very cool shift in mood and texture. These thick, dark, and dreary riffs introduce the beckoning void before it feels like they crumble apart, and I say that in the best way possible. What tricks you into thinking that this is a very straightforward, almost just plain heavy metal riff suddenly decays into this harsh, pure chaos. So it's fantastic. The more tremolo style riffs have this nasty feedback attached to them that make it not quite like every other black metal tremolo you've probably heard. It's a bit more ugly and fierce, and the synths play out in a way that amongst this provides a harmonious contrast, almost like a competing message, these conflicting parts of herself, I would say. Winds of Hell's Gate is this foreboding instrumental with these deep, bellowing percussion bits and these noisy mechanical sounds. It definitely adds a bit of creepiness to the EP's arc. Wilting Flower in a Forgotten Landscape offers up some attitude and some energy with these galloping, biting riffs, and the vocals have this delicious fuck you snarl to them. I dig it a lot. The guitars quickly evolve into these unhinged and freakish circling riffs with these discordant and squealing licks on top. Oh, it's so beautifully abrasive. On aimless traveling, the drifting and sustained synths give a bed for these violent but skeletal drum passages and these gnawing guitars. There's just a lot of raw and unpolished momentum coming through. And this track, the most out of all of them, feels very messy in a very intentional way. This is unclean and visceral and hostile. Vampiric Reflection offers up this very spacey intro that's really somber and full of allure and mystique, and these alien synths feel very hypnotic on top of that. But that's before everything leads into these slow burning strummed riffs that are so brutal and pissed and vicious. Raise the horns. I love how snappy the drums bounce along and the surprisingly chunky guitar riffs move along in these syncopated rhythms. It's aggressively off-putting. We're getting an example of black metal on this track that is equally harsh and atmospheric, and I love when a band can figure out that. Here, there is also a melodic sensibility with this very melancholic and nightmarish closing lead. It's a nice note to end things on. For an EP of this nature and this length, there is so much varying feeling clearly communicated. The sense of anxiety and anguish is so understood. It's very much there. For an EP of this length and this nature, so much feeling is communicated. The sense of anguish and anxiety is so clearly understood and just very much there. I really admire how much mystique and bleakness Eleanor just seems to throw at this. This is a very roughly recorded EP, and that's the idea. And it works. This is not a pretty black metal record, although there is beauty in moments. It's weaved into this charming ugliness. And I see a lot of potential in this project, and I can't wait for a full length. With so much great black metal coming out all the time that I have to hear, this one stood out to me. Bravo! Fans of the genre should definitely go check this one out. And hey, those are my thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It'd mean the world to me if you consider subscribing, leave a comment. I love engaging with those. I have a Twitter you can follow. A link to that is in the bio of this YouTube channel. Keep it metal. My name is Maddie, aka Beavermosh, and I'm signing off.